And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a David Rose special that just went past here in his big home. I'll try and get him to back up. Back up, David! Back her up! He's got a locomotive here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 6 cars on it. And it's one of the small ones. I've never seen anything this small in my life. The track's only about 1 inch wide. Is it steam? Steam, look, here he comes. He's got a tremendous place out here in the valley. And I'll bet he has every kid in the neighborhood will come over here and play on this train. Backing in on the side switch now. Has some kiddies out in the front of the big gate looking in at the train. In fact, I think this is his hobby. We'll have him talk about it later on. Yeah, bring her to stop there. Oh, that killed me. Hiya, David.
Fine, how are you, Max?
Oh, fine, Jim.
Don't come close, you'll get pretty dirty.
Brother, you look like a real engineer.
Well,
what
that's what I am.
Tell the audience what kind of a train this is. I never saw.
Well, this is a model of a Royal Scot.
Yes.
And it goes by steam and heated by coal, just like a big one. And it's 1/8 full size. Of course, it doesn't sound, it sounds too big when you say 1/8 full size, but that's what it is. It runs on track at 7 1/4 inches apart. That's the gauge of the track. And it will pull about 22 people. And
22 people?
Yeah.
How many foot of track have you got on your place?
Oh, they're close.
Back of the pool out in the back?
There's about 950 feet,
How do you
1,000 feet.
I see it runs through where out there where the clothes hamper is, where they hang up the clothes.
Yeah, yeah, we don't worry about things like that.
No,
no.
Your War Department didn't say anything. Mrs. Rose didn't say, what do you...
They see me coming and take in the clothes and the baby.
Well, is this your hobby?
Oh, I've been fooling with anything that runs by steam, that is in the model field.
I noticed you have a lot of trains out
many
in the back.
years. Oh yeah, we have a model of a Royal Scot here and a Union Pacific out there, and many smaller models. It's just something that I like to tinker with.
You had this sent over from overseas?
This one comes from England. The hobby is very extensive out there, more so than here. But now there are a lot of clubs and organizations, and mostly people who are machinists, you know, who build these things up from scrap metal and from scratch, and there are various places where you get fittings and so forth.
Well, when you get through at the studio, but you can't wait to get home to ride this thing here.
Well, the studio is the hobby, you know.
Well, that's your hobby.
The music is the hobby.
Well, how many trains do you have now?
Well, let's see. I have 4 large ones, that is of this size, and then various sizes
all
below
steam?
this. All steam. I have one that weighs about 70 pounds and pulls 4 people. It's very small.
How did you get into a hobby like this? Collecting?
Who knows? I don't know.
You really don't know?
No.
Well, when you were a kid,
just like the wheels, I guess. I like to see the wheels go around.
Yes. Well, when you were a kid, you never had anything like this?
I probably always wanted to have a train or be an engineer. One of them. And now I'm making up for it.
Well, now all the other trains that you have, are they all from overseas?
No, oh no, this is the only one from overseas. The others are made here, and I can't build them up right from the first nut and bolt, but I do know enough about it to fix it when it breaks, and that's where I have my fun. Not so much riding around.
How can you be one of our greatest musical conductors and composer and still have time to fool around with a train?
Well, that's why I'm not one of the greatest.
Well, yeah, you're up there. You know that. Don't give us that, David. What was the latest compositions you wrote?
Oh, I have 2 of them out now. One called The Flying Horse and one called The Masked Waltz.
Yes,
I think they're
both
both out
movies
now. No, one was written for a movie, but didn't work out for the movie, so I just recorded it on an MGM record.
Well, I just talked to a friend of yours that said say hello, Gordon McRae.
Oh, sure. He was out here several weeks.
That's how we
with
have to
his
come over.
children.
He said, you chances I'll be riding like an Indian around on your property here with his train.
Well, Max, I've been gone for about 2.5 months. I was over in Europe, just got back, and this is the first Saturday I've had to really fool with the engines. You know, you have to keep them cooked up every once in a while, otherwise they rust and so forth.
I wouldn't know anything about it. I wouldn't want to even get on and take a chance riding around this.
Oh, no, you're going to have a ride before you leave.
Well.
Oh, sure.
Well, when you travel, do you go by a train such as this or by plane?
Well, unfortunately, I go by plane.
That's
we don't have the time.
That's right.
I wish I could go by train, but I'd like to be in the cab, not in one of the Pullman cars.
If I remember correctly, what program was I on the last time I saw you that you conducted and had your orchestra?
Well,
Was
if
that
you,
Maxwell House or I don't
it
know.
was I think
What big program?
called the Nash Calvinator program.
Was that it?
I think that's what it was a few years
Was that a
back.
benefit? I know. I wouldn't be sure.
Wait a minute. Oh, where was it? If there was a benefit, then there was something else.
I think our good
recall.
friend Carol Landis, who's gone on the other side's gone, was on that.
Where?
Has it been a long time ago?
Thinking. I can't think
Do you
at the
know-
moment, Max, where it was.
Well, I'm glad to see that because you know when a fellow with a mind like you that's sharp and you can't think of that, it makes me feel good because I forget sometimes. I get worried. I think it was the
can't
last
remember
time.
what happened yesterday, Max.
Oh, you
I
can't.
confess. I have a very poor memory.
Well, I tell you, we're going to have to take. I'd like to just now, if we may, I'd like to win and Dick Burdick here walking around the grass, writing out notes. He wants to ask
What does
you
he want to
a
know?
special story connected with the writing of Holiday for Strings.
Oh, well, I don't know.
I think this is one of your best known compositions.
Well, I was very
And
lucky with that one.
It's now an American classic, as they all talk about. Well,
Well,
what gives you an idea to get started on one of those things?
probably out of necessity. You have to work, and if you're lucky enough, you come up with something that the people will like.
Have you ever
And
been out
it's-
dining and thought comes to you?
No, Max, I
No?
don't believe in that inspiration business with the trees and the beautiful lakes and the swans. I do believe that if you're able to be somewhere where you can get inspiration, that means that you're not under pressure and perhaps you have a little more time to think something out. And that, of course, doesn't mean it's going to be a hit. But out of necessity, I have written a lot of things that by that I mean I had to have something for the next day or the next week, and I was asked to write a composition of sorts, and so I would sit down and write one. And if it was lucky, why the
It was a
people
big
liked
hit,
it.
yeah. Well, when you write a composition like that, it's a strain on you mentally. That tires you physically too. That tires you the same as a man would be plowing the fields all day for 8 hours, isn't it?
Well,
I mean,
that's what they say. You
yeah.
get awful hungry.
I know. I try to memorize a few lines for a shot in the picture, and I get tired.
Of course, I wouldn't want you to tell the audience, Max, that I really get tired from bending, putting coal in the train.
Coal, I know
See, not from writing.
Folks, maybe if you can listen just a moment, maybe we can hear the steam coming out of the top of this thing here.
Oh, it'll blast. Watch.
That was a David Rose holiday special here on these properties. Got a tremendous place out here in the valley in Encino, out by Encino. And I'm going to take a ride around the train now, if you don't mind.
You don't get out before
All
you
right.
get a ride on the train.
All right,
Oh,
I'm going to
sure.
get on now. I want to thank you for everything, David.
Not at all, Max.
It's
Very,
been a
very
pleasure.
good
Thank
to see
you.
you, and we'll be listening
Oh,
to
you took. I'm glad you took your glove off.
It's still on.
Well, all right, you get on,
Okay.
and let's get going now. I'm all safe here.
Here
I'm
we
back
go.
on the Coban.
Okay, here we go.
All aboard, David Rose special, pulling out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now I'm out here at RKO Studios. I'm in the dressing room here with a couple of big fellas all dressed up in leather. Of course, the kind of leather I wore was different than this. This is mighty heavy. This first fella here is bigger than I am, and he's doing a lot of punching today. I just saw him do some horseback riding. He went through a lot of dialogue. Vic Mature. Come here, Vic. Say hello.
Hiya, Maxie. You know, every time anyone asks me to say a few thousand words, I usually make a speech that's out of this world, and believe me, it should stay there. But here's another friend of mine, Hubert Updike's just here, a friend of Howard Hughes's, who bought the studio the other day.
Yes, I just bought the studio, and I just think that you're doing a bang-up job on Androcles and the Lyran.
What is the name of this picture?
But this is Androcles and the Lion. It's a delightful comedy.
I can't even spell it because I've been working with Rosenblum a long time.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be a big smash, don't you, Vic?
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me, how many's in the cast, Vic? How many are you saying?
About 3,000, wouldn't you say?
At least.
At least.
At least.
They're all under personal contract.
Incidentally, it's starring Miss Gene Simmons and Alan Young and Maurice Evans, Robert Newton,
Yes.
and...
I knew his brother, Fig.
But, oh, yes. Did you ever meet my brother, Immature? had a cousin premature.
Listen, oh, brother.
No, but getting back to something really sweet. That Miss
Say-
Jean Simmons is undoubtedly one of the
yes,
sweetest, one of the finest actresses
I know.
that I have ever had the opportunity of seeing and working with. She is really
Sweet little lady.
undoubtedly.
We're
She's
going
an
to-
inspiration in every scene.
Yeah, well, we're going to cut a little tape in a few minutes with that. Vic, how can you come in after being so serious out there on that horse and speaking to all these people and come in here and laugh like this, then go back out there and remember what you're supposed to do? Is it the trigger mind? Rosenblum has one, but he
Well, you
can't
see-
remember one line.
Well, we
Cut
have
it down.
we have no assurance yet that when I get back out there, I'm going to remember what I'm supposed to do.
No. How much?
Max,
you-
really, it's a
Yes.
pleasure seeing you today.
Yes. Well, how much you weigh now, Vic?
About 204.
Well, would you mind fighting? I mean, we can make a lot of money nowadays with television. Look what happened in the middleweights last night, over $1 million. Just think what we could do.
I don't know what
I'll
that
be in
money-
your corner. And,
It's too much money, Max. Too much money. It only upset me.
well, and I mean, you're used to the camera. When you'd get knocked down, if you should, you'd face the camera like I always did and give the sponsor a
No, I'm-
commercial,
you know-
and we could do very well with that too.
Oh, I'm real happy. One of those small little houses, one little bathroom. That's all. You know, and I don't want too much.
Come in here, get up here. You know you Toots.
Yeah.
I was saying today, you remind me, you're a fine actor, and you remind me of another fine actor called Lee Cobb. Of course, the only difference
Oh, yeah,
is
well,
you have your hair and
I'm
you're
a
younger.
Lee Cobb with hair, that's right.
Yeah.
But seriously, Maxie, my name is Jim Backus.
I know
Not
Jim.
Hubert Updike, really, but
No, I know.
but
Didn't you just come out of a New York show, Broadway? Were you
no,
in a Broadway
no,
show just recently?
no, I haven't been one in 5 years. I've been
Fine.
out here in the land of the tangerine and the lotus. You get very lazy out
Yes.
here and very contented.
Yes.
But I'm wearing 75 pounds of leather, man. You know that isn't
75.
chopped liver.
Well, I wished a lot of times I had 75 pounds of leather in one of my right hands. I threw.
The only good thing about this picture is we're going to lose a lot of weight. But I mean it really, seriously. It's a very fine picture, and it's what is it, Androcles and the lion.
Well, I want to thank you, Champ. I call you Champ, Jim, if I
Champ.
may, and Vic, Champ. You both a couple of champs. Take care of yourself, and tomorrow, if you're not too tired, will you call me at the Roosevelt Hotel, and we'll do a little road work. Will that be all
all
right?
right,
with you?
fine,
All
sure,
right.
sure.
Thank you
I've been
very-
eyeing Walcott, you know.
You've been- well,
I saw the fight in the pictures.
Nothing's impossible. He was through 18 years ago.
I'm 198, man, and after
198?
this with the leather, I think I'd be a cinch.
Well, you ought to be able to throw a little leather.
Sure.
All right, thanks. We'll call on you, and I'll get
Okay.
Mr. Hoffman and Jack Dempsey. We'll match it up, and
That's
you can name the round you're going to lose in. We'll clean up.
That's right. That's my boy Vic.
All right, Vic and I'll help carry you back the corner. Thank you very kindly.
So long,
go.
Max. So long,
Oh,
Max.
goodbye.